Welcome again to all of you. Thank you very much to Mr. Fatih. And I will just be adding some things to what you have already stated. First of all, in the flow chart, you can see what we will talk about between addicted and healthy use. What is the difference? Dissociation, endophenotypes, and other subjects. Alexithymia is was first being talked about in 1970s, and in our days we know that in many cases of mental disorders and the development of mental disorders, alexithymia is another factor contributing to that. There are some people who have low self-esteem, low difficulty in building meaningful social relations and managing their emotions. They might experience some problems regarding those. And its prevalence is actually quite high. It's not really rare. When you look into the studies, it ranges between 10% to 36%. And again, in young people, it's around 38%. And in Turkey, it's about 21% among young people. And in terms of online game addiction, alexithymia actually is effective. It is shown with studies. And if the individual has alexithymia, it is easier for these people to build some social relations or more meaningful social relations online rather than in real life. They can express themselves better, and this actually helps with regulating their moods, but then this could lead to addiction in technological devices, in social media use. Overuse could be led by alexithymia. Also for smartphone addiction, online game playing, these things can actually be very prevalent among people or individuals with alexithymia. And when you look into internet addiction, alexithymia, and cyber exposure to abuse, there is a relation between these three. And when you look at the internet addiction scale points or scores and alexithymia scores, there was a significant positive relation. Again, young internet addiction scale was again related or correlated with alexithymia. It was statistically significant. Again, with at the sub level of building social relations, there was again a positive correlation. In Turkey, in a study with 444 high school students, alexithymia increased the risk of problematic internet use. And of course, what we shouldn't ignore is that we should look into people with alexithymia or who show signs of alexithymia, and an intervention might be needed. When you come to dissociation, dissociative individuals in general populations are not really rare. If it becomes pathological, it is only becoming pathological when it's problematic. And most of the young people with dissociation is not. Sometimes they show symptoms like spending long hours online. Or, for example, all of us basically feel sometimes that when we are reading a book, for example, you dissociate. disassociate, and then your mind strays to other areas, or when you're watching a movie or playing an online game, these could happen. And all of the common point for all of these things is that they are an example of disassociation. And when I, for example, don't remember something that I was reading just now, I then realize that I was disassociated. Or sometimes the attention window is just so narrow that everything outside of the focal point is completely excluded in this association. When you look at the adults, there was a positive correlation between internet use, or the time spent on the internet, in among adults. And when the internet use is increased in individuals, there is also an increase in disassociation symptoms. And again, in a study in Turkey, it was again a positive correlation between internet use, or time spent on the internet, and disassociation. Normative disassociation and social media use was also indicated with some studies. And sometimes internet blackout is used as a term to define the disassociation. Again, the smartphone use is known to be associated with being hypnotized. So hypnosis is actually accepted as a dissociative situation. So it is actually basically almost feeling like you are hypnotized, and you're hypnotized, and you don't know when you opened the web page or when you started a game, etc. When you look at the endophenotypes, it is actually there is an association between endophenotypes with ADHD. And again, with the previous presentations, you heard about the instant gratification and delayed gratification. Here, people usually show the symptoms of being impulsive, and they actually prefer mostly the instant gratification over delayed gratification. And here, for smaller children, this could be another definition, because it's actually the tolerability capacity of the delayed gratification is actually a subject of adults and adolescents, because in children the impulse control is not really much. So this definition is usually used for defining endophenotypes in children. In a study by Cheng et al. In 2021, there was a positive correlation between internet addiction and instant gratification. Another endophenotype is androgen. And maybe you heard about it, similar post on social media, second finger and fourth finger ratios, or if you have a smaller ratio between the sizes of your second and fourth fingers, is actually indicative of more internet or higher internet use. And with a hyperandrogenic effect, under risk, people who are under risks of addictive behaviors, second and fourth finger sizes ratios are actually smaller. So This was also associated with problematic online game addiction or use. Self-compassion is another concept that we will look at. When people feel hopeless, some people are more kinder to themselves, or some people are aware of the fact that they have some negative thoughts or things that they imagine, but it is normal. Especially during adolescence, this becomes very important, being compassionate towards yourself. It is known that it is actually associated with addiction. There is a negative correlation between self-compassion and substance abuse, and also internet addiction. So we also have a study when we look into homophobia and nomophobia and the self-compassion. We have found a positive correlation. When you think about the metacognition, another thing becomes the skills around metacognition. The higher metacognition you have, the better chance you have at correcting any negative thoughts, or it is also known to be playing a role in mental problems, mental disorders. There are some, for example, online games, there are some positive metacognitions. For example, if I play this game, I can improve myself, or negative metacognitions, which is like saying that if I start playing this game, I can never stop playing it. Just like in any other addiction, metacognition could be used in the treatment of any online game addiction or internet addiction. Again, there was another research looking into nomophobia and metacognition, and it was stated that when you focus on to the metacognition skills, it would be a positive impact in treating some addictions. And for tolerance and withdrawal, there are some things about them, especially about the tolerance and severe will or demand towards technological devices. It is actually one of the most common and widespread symptoms of addiction. For example, always looking to buy the higher grade technological devices, or computers or software, etc. Our withdrawal in that case is usually depressive symptoms or insomnia, loss of sleep, and so on. When you look at the functionality side of things, people could lose their jobs or leave their education life, or in terms of their social functionality, there could be some disruptions because of their addiction. And of course, during the adolescence period, there is the impulsiveness that comes with being an adolescent, and adolescent people always try to find themselves a spot among their peers, and if they, for example, don't play certain online games, they are excluded from their groups, peer groups. And if you, for example, don't use TikTok, for example, you could be excluded from your social group, peer group. So in those periods when we look at the adolescence, it is an important aspect of addiction. Of course, addiction is the reason behind a lot of social problems, but also social problems are behind addiction. They could be the cause of addiction. Even in dissociation, for example, we can touch the lives of many young people with our new approaches and treatments. Thank you very much.